Ivana Katz, welcome. How are you today?
Thank you so much, Mark. I am doing really well. I've had a fantastic weekend, so I'm ready to go.
Tell us about that because you were celebrating your birthday, weren't you?
Well, you know what? When I hit 40, I started counting backwards. So I select. I celebrated my 26th birthday for about the fourth time over the past couple of weeks. And so I had a weekend away with some beautiful girlfriends, and we did what girls do. We talked about boys, and and we went shopping, and we ate, and we drank a little bit. I don't drink generally, but I did have half a glass of something or other. And so it was a fantastic weekend. But I think, like for you, my weekends are very similar to the weekdays. So,
Yeah,
having been my own boss for a long time,
yeah.
I kind of set my own schedule, and I work when I feel like working, and I sleep when I feel like sleeping, and
Wow.
that sometimes is even in the middle of the day. So.
You have the life, don't you? I was going to ask you though, why did you wait until you got to 40 when you started counting backwards? I started counting backwards when I got 30.
Oh, did you? So that makes you 17 now?
Yeah, I'm back in my teenage years. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
see, I kind of figured that I don't know, I didn't come up with the idea until I hit 40. But
Fair enough.
I have a funny story if we've got a moment.
Yeah.
What happened when I started counting backwards. So my son was about 14 or 15 at the time. And I had an accident in the kitchen, and I sliced my hand, and I was bleeding. There was blood everywhere, all over the floor and everything like that. And I started feeling really dizzy. And my son comes out of his room, and he sees me in a bit of a tiff, and he goes, "Should I call the ambulance?" And I thought I was going to pass out. And so I said, "I think you better." So he dials the, triple O, gets onto the ambulance, and they start asking him questions about me. And one of the questions they ask, "How old is your mum?"
Right.
And I remember the look of horror on his face, and he's like, "Can I reveal her real age, or do I have to say that she's 30 something?" Poor
So,
kid, he's so traumatized.
so what did he do? What did he do? What did he tell them?
I think I said he was okay to give my real age.
Okay, cool. Fantastic. What a great story that is. You can remind him of that for the rest of his life.
I know. I don't think he'll ever forget it. I embarrass him constantly. I make his life hell.
Brilliant. Well, we're going to have a chat today because you and I have just recently met each other, and we're forming a partnership here that's going to be really exciting. I'm excited about it because I think there's a huge amount of potential. And as you and I have already talked about off air, that these COVID-19 times are bringing about wonderful new opportunities for everybody in business to do things in a different way, perhaps, yeah, and reach out to others to look for not only support but helping grow each other's brands. And I'm excited about what we're going to do. So let's talk first of all about how we actually met. How did that come about?
Um, well, you know what? I'm part of a LinkedIn group, and one of the girls that is in our LinkedIn group, she said, "Have you heard of Mark? He's been doing a whole lot of podcasts, and he's looking for guests." And I thought, "No, I haven't heard of him yet." And so I reached out to you, I think, and I said, "Well, you're looking for somebody to speak on about business and maybe about a few inspirations." And I had been looking at doing a little bit of podcasting, but not actually wanting to but looking for people where I can speak. And you know what? I believe that people will come to your life for a reason, season, or a lifetime. And if somebody comes to your life and things happen easily and natural, it's meant to be. And so for me, this just appeared so easily, so organically. I didn't have to fight it. So here I am.
Here you are. What a great story. And I think also for people listening today who I think LinkedIn is actually a bit of a secret weapon in the business world that people are not using to its fullest capacity. And I'd like to share a little bit of an example. Since I've been doing the podcasting shows and everything, the amount of connection that I've made through LinkedIn alone has been absolutely phenomenal. Like the amount of interest people have, one, in podcast, and two, the subject matters that I'm doing, and the connections that I've made as a result of that. And here you are, as you said, as a result of, us getting together through a LinkedIn connection. So people out there listening, never underestimate the power of LinkedIn and use it more. Get into there's a lot of great groups and everything that can take your interest on LinkedIn, regardless of what industry you work in. You can, and even in your hobbies. So if you love traveling outside of work, there's a lot of great travel groups within LinkedIn with people not only from within the industry, but also sharing great information about travel. So yeah, jump on LinkedIn. That's my story.
I agree with you totally, because I avoided LinkedIn like the plague, because I always thought LinkedIn was only for the corporates to connect.
Yeah.
And then I met a business coach who is also part of this LinkedIn group, and he said no, and he told me all the fantastic things they were doing, and I thought, I want in. And so I agree with you totally. It's such a great platform for small businesses, but you really have to know what you're doing. Like, where I see people go wrong with social media, and it's not just LinkedIn, is they just bombard their channel with information. They're not actually interacting with others. They don't have their profile set up. And so where sometimes people think it doesn't work or where they fail is because they're not using it as a social platform where they would be interacting with other people, but instead they're treating it as a way to talk to people, but nobody's really listening. It's only when you're engaging with others that it makes a huge difference. And I'm like you, the amount of new connections that I've made, and sometimes it's not even the person that you connect to directly, but somebody who might be a connection of that person, just like you and I connected.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I think just to add a little bit to that is that I think LinkedIn's changed its game quite a lot too recently, and I think that's helped as well. I think it's become a platform that people have a lot more, I guess, links to credibility on there. I think it's turned away from being more of a Facebooky type thing to really focusing on business, and there's a lot of great business information on LinkedIn, but they're not paying us to do an ad today, Ivana, so I think we should...
Maybe we need to collaborate.
I think we should move on from LinkedIn. But get onto LinkedIn and make it work for you. So collaboration, it's a word that we band around a lot. And, I've got a lot of history around collaboration, but I'd like to hear from you about what collaboration means to you, Ivana.
That's a great question. You know what? I've kind of avoided it because to me it was hard work. And I didn't know how to go about it. And so I'm only just starting to learn from it. And where I learned a lot was from the Kardashians, would you believe it? Never used to watch it, but I've only just recently started watching. And they're always talking about collaboration. And I didn't get it, but now I see the power of, helping other people. And so one of the things that I started doing was I started promoting other people's small businesses by publishing their details on my website. And so that's kind of one step in the right direction. But I have a lot to learn about collaboration, I have to say.
Okay, well, I'm going to share a little story with you about collaboration, and it's going to be something that we're all very familiar with, but we probably don't think about how collaboration brings it all together. In my last corporate job, I worked in the aerospace industry, and particularly with Boeing and Airbus making aircraft and looking after their global supply chains. And the collaboration that goes on to actually make an aircraft is something absolutely phenomenal. And a lot of people don't know this kind of information, but there's around about 5,000 companies that collaborate to actually build an aircraft, okay? Whether it be an Airbus aircraft or whether it be a Boeing aircraft. And that's a phenomenal job to bring all those collaborative partners together to actually create something as technologically advanced. Say that again. So something so far into the future in terms of technology advancements, innovations, and all the rest of it. Plus, also something that's linked to our everyday life, that's got a huge safety component imagine 5,000 companies putting parts and pieces on an aircraft that has to keep us all flying without dropping out of the sky, right? So
yeah,
it's one of those
can't
things we don't
imagine.
think about. So I spent a number of years working in that collaborative environment, and it taught me a lot about collaboration, because when you have an end goal, such as building an aircraft, as the goal for all the collaboration partners, it's quite easy for everyone to focus on making that goal to come to fruition. So one of my things with collaboration is to make sure that everybody has an end goal, what they want to achieve out of being a collaborator. So when you say, you want to get into more collaboration, I think it's important for you and for everybody to think about, okay, what is my end goal? And you may not know in the beginning what the end goal is, because a part of collaboration is actually looking at new opportunities that you didn't see for your business before. And like you and I are doing, and what I see is really exciting about this is, and we're going to talk about it in a minute, the things that you can add in terms of information and industry expertise that you're bringing to my platform and enabling me to get the message out to a greater audience is also going to open doors for you into areas that you had never anticipated before. So a lot of the outcomes from collaboration are actually exciting because they're unknown. And if you go into a collaboration arrangement, and a collaboration doesn't have to be just between two people, as I just highlighted, 5,000 companies coming together to build an aircraft. So the number of collaboration partners on any project or any business can be an infinite. It can be whatever you want it to make it be. Obviously, there's complexity involved if you're trying to bring 5,000 collaborating partners together versus having two like you and I are doing here. So there's a little bit of background on collaboration as far as I see it.
Wow.
And some of the opportunities that maybe we'll end up building an aircraft together, Ivana.
I was just going to say, maybe it's going to be, actually, it's going to be a virtual aircraft for humanity.
Oh, love it. Love it.
I think so. You know what? The funny thing is, when I introduce myself, or if I'm asked to write a bio, I say that I'm a co-pilot for people's businesses. I don't know everything there is to know about hairdressing or about being a business coach or being a lawyer, but I know how to translate it into an online business. So I think of myself as a co-pilot. So I will be your co-pilot. You be the captain and I'll be the co-pilot.
Fantastic. I love that analogy. That's a very good one. Let's roll with it. And all the other people that are coming on board, you can be a member of the crew. Yeah, we can have
Absolutely.
lots of members of the crew. Okay, so we're going to collaborate. And so, yeah, let's talk about that. And from your point of view, first of all, give me a view on that collaboration from your side. What are you doing? What are you seeing as opportunities? And where are we going to start?
Well, I think where we are starting is to develop a website for humanity, and just going through the process so that you can see how I take clients through a process of developing a website. And once we come out on the other end, we are then going to be doing monthly podcasts which address different issues that people face when they're trying to get their business on the internet. And they're going to be, each month we're going to focus on different areas. So we're going to talk about domain names and what are great domain names to register, how to design a website, how to choose fonts, how to choose colors, what content to include, what is credibility. And so I actually have a 16-step process, which is quite in-depth. And so we will be covering that over the next, however many months that we need to, and probably ongoing for maybe even years to come, because the internet changes so quickly. So
that's fantastic. And why I was so excited to say yes immediately to collaborating with you was that, you've had a lot of experience in the industry. You've watched the evolution of not only the internet, but also the tools associated with putting together websites and looking at trends and looking at all the things that a lot of people make mistakes on, let's face it, and they learn the hard way. But you've been able to capture that throughout your journey. What are some of the biggest changes that have happened, say, in the last 2 years when it comes to website development?
I think one of the biggest changes is the fact that more and more people are viewing their website on their mobile devices. So a lot of businesses that had their website created maybe 5 years ago, they're starting to see that their ranking is dropping because Google is now looking to make sure that your website is mobile responsive.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is we are getting lazier and lazier and we don't want to read. So having a lot less text on the website and maybe replacing it with videos, I'm seeing that. And the design has to be very clean and just, I would say, minimal, because where I see a lot of people fail is they treat their website as a printed brochure. And with a printed brochure, you can lay it out and so it looks perfect. And when it prints out, it looks pretty much how you laid it out. On the internet, it's very fluid. So things change from a monitor to monitor, from device to device, from operating system, different browsers. So we are dealing with thousands and thousands and thousands of different scenarios. And so the more complex a website is, the more chances there are that things are going to go wrong. And I see it happen all the time. Sometimes people try to get too fancy and it may work for 3 months, 6 months, but then after a while it just falls over, and trying to bring it back to life, it's hard. So I say simple is the new black.
Yeah, beautiful. Look, there's a lot there that we should talk about, because I think, another thing that I'm excited about this collaboration is that we're going to be able to show the journey of our own website as part of a case study, right? In terms of,
yes, absolutely.
We're in startup phase and we're going through a massive evolution at the moment with rebranding and changing a lot of things. So our engagement with our audience is critical, and changing some past, understanding on what we're doing into our new philosophy and all the rest of it. And you're bringing this educational aspect to it as well, in terms of being able to reach our audience and saying, right, if you're in that phase, not only watch what we're doing with Humanity's website, but also here's my, years and years and decades of expertise that I can share with you in terms of, starting off or re-engineering what you already have. Because let's face it, a lot of websites out there basically need refurbishing, don't they?
Oh my God, yes. I've seen some horror ones, and I've tried to reach out to people, but sometimes people are not open to it. But, from what we've seen, how far we've come already from the beginning. And to be honest, a website should always be evolving, because the technology changes and what people expect change all the time. And the good thing is, if you have a website that is mobile responsive and that you can manage yourself easily, you can just make changes on the go. So there's a lot that goes, and that's why setting it up properly initially will make it so much easier for you long term. So choosing the right platform. So, I think you and I talked about, I wouldn't let you touch anything other than WordPress. And I'm glad to hear you listen.
I was listening.
Yes. And so I think we all have a different perspective on the situation. And look, I've been through it, how long? 18 years I've been designing websites, and I've made so many mistakes, and I've learned. And, sometimes it takes one, more than once to make a mistake to finally, do you get it yet? Yeah, finally.
So if you're out there watching and listening to us today, folks, you're going to be able to watch this lady who's originally from the Czech Republic, working together with this Kiwi guy who's living on a sailboat in Australia at the moment. So there's a bit of a mixture there for you today. So it's a League of Nations. We'll call it the League of Nations is coming together to create this journey. So every month you're going to be able to listen and watch Ivana talking about different aspects of web development. We're going to be starting in August with the first show that she's going to be doing, and she's already got a great roadmap designed on all the different aspects of web development that you're going to be able to listen and learn from. And at the same time, we're going to be running concurrently the development of the Humanity website. So you'll be able to see a lot of the things that Ivana is going to be sharing in her episodes coming to fruition and reality in our website. So it's really exciting things that we're going to be doing, Ivana, isn't it?
I love it. And it's kind of like a makeover, and I love a good makeover show. Let's hope we come out well on the other side.
So there you go, folks. We wanted to jump on today and make this video and let you know what we're doing. We're starting off an exciting collaboration together. You're going to be able to watch it unfold right here on the Humanity channel. So stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for the upcoming dates on when Ivana's going to be back with us with the first episode. So Ivana, thanks so much for joining me today, and thank you for saying yes, because, taking new steps into bold terrain is what it's all about in business, getting out of the comfort zone and trying things that you haven't tried before. So we'll make it good, I'm sure.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you. I mean, it's, the way I look at it is, what's the worst that can happen?
Exactly.
It's not going to kill me, right?
And the internet could crash and we could all be left without a website, right? So there we go. So there you go, folks. We'll be back again soon, and you can follow our journey as it unfolds.